DeFi mania is currently on a pause, and everybody's wondering, is this the end? Has the bubble popped? Are we headed lower? Or is this just a pullback on our way up to newer and higher highs? Is this just like 2017, where we had tons of pullbacks to the tune of 30% or more in the market? Or is this different? Was this a local high on a DeFi-fueled mania that needs to be reset for the lack of rationality and the excess of greed that has flooded the market? We're going to be answering all those questions today and putting in your mind some key levels that you can be looking for to understand which direction this cookie is going to crumble. I'm going to be telling you how I managed this dip, how I managed to stem the bleeding and stop losing any of my capital, and what my plan is for the next few days as we monitor this ongoing situation. So if you guys are excited for this, do me a favor and absolutely destroy that like button. And remember that each and every comment is, of course, like always, entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S. Before we dive into all of my analysis of the market, which I know you guys are excited for, we're first going to be showing a clip from Charles Hoskinson that was published today, and I find it to be an incredibly poignant and relevant message that Charles delivers. So we're going to be playing a significant amount of this clip, and I'm going to be breaking down what he says, because these ideas are absolutely fundamental for you to understand what the real point of this entire movement is, and where we are not just on this micro DeFi fueled bull run, but in the larger scope, the history of money, the history of our societies. And so we're going to be taking a step back to have an ideological message that I think is critical for you to hear today. And then we're going to dive in and do some market analysis. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get started.
The inflationary policy has created a situation where the Jeff Bezoses can have $200 billion and make windfall profits every year, regardless of how bad the economy is. And the everyday people, they don't get a pay increase. In a lot of cases, they don't even get to keep their job. And their money deteriorates in value a lot more than 3% per year. Our industry has principles in that we worship the math and the protocols and the stable monetary policy, these types of things. And as corrupt as some of the exchanges can be and some of the bad actors are, all movements suffer from these warts, and they're finite and temporary. You run out of them at some point. Self-regulation kicks in or standards kick in, and these bad actors flush out. And what's left behind is a crucible that contains the truth of the matter, which is we're going to win as an industry. There's just no doubt in my mind. You have bad days in the market, you have damn good days in the market. You get addicted to the good ones and you hate the bad ones, but at the end of the day, it's only going in one direction, which is crypto is going to eat the world. Every voting system, every property registration system, every monetary system in the next 25 to 50 years is going to be running on the tech we build and others build, and running with the principles of power to the edges. This is the great challenge of our time, to do it in a way that it's fair, transparent, open, and doesn't allow a government to co-opt it. There's going to be a lot of fights here. The least of our concerns and matters are a red day. And every now and then I like making these videos to remind people why I'm here and why you should be here too. As toxic as the trolls can be and these other people can be, none of them really matter. Markets don't really matter. What matters are the principles and the purpose behind what we do. And you have to ask yourself, are you happy with the way that society is? Are you happy with the money in your pocket? Are you happy with the political leadership representing your nations? Are you happy with your future? And do you honestly believe if we keep doing the things that we did and continue to do, that the future is going to be better? Or do you think it's going to be worse or stagnant? I think too many people have woken up and they realize that if we continue doing the things that we do, the future is going to be a bad place. And they don't want that to happen. And so we're voting with our wallets, we're voting with our feet, and we as a collective industry are waking up and figuring out how to build something better. And there's some good days and bad days along the way. Today's a bad one, but there are going to be good days tomorrow. Just like I told you back when Corona made everything go into free fall. And I told you before, and I warned you about with ICO mania. We're in a DeFi bubble right now. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I saw it in 2017 with ICO mania. I see it here. And there's probably going to be worse days ahead in that respect. But the trend is always the same, and never forget that. And never forget that real people are actually adopting these systems and using them. And every day we see more and more, and every day that movement grows. And what's so humbling is that I know a lot of you are here with me. It used to be a pretty lonely space to be in a few years back. The conferences, they didn't have many people. My first Bitcoin meetup group in 2011 in Colorado was at the Gypsy House Cafe. I think I was 13th and Pearl over in Capitol Hill in Denver. And I registered for the event. I showed up. 2 people registered, myself and another guy. And the other guy didn't show up. So I had coffee with myself. Compare that with the Shelley Summit that we had in July of 2020. 10,000 attendees. 10,000 from all across the world. Compare that to where we are at today. Just 9 years later. Pretty amazing if you think about it, how fast things have grown and how many fertile, beautiful ideas exist in this industry and what this industry is doing for the world as a whole. And that is why we're going to win. Because at the end of the day, who can argue against freedom? Who can argue against liberty? Who can argue against putting people in control? The only way you can is when you believe people are stupid, people are evil, people are incapable. And I suppose that's a philosophical difference between those who currently lead and the people who want to replace them. The people in charge right now of the world, the big banks, the Fortune 500 companies, the media, Hollywood, these things, they're very cynical people who believe in the worst in us. They look at everyday people with disdain and disgust and say, these people, if left to their own devices, will be chaos. These people, if left to govern themselves, will burn everything to the ground and destroy everything. And every single time I have ever seen a bad event happen, what the news doesn't show you and what those people don't talk about is how we come together and help each other out. Someone gets injured in the streets, more often than not, people show up and help them. If people need a helping hand, someone always shows up more often than not. And this is no different. I don't believe the political process is effective anymore in any modern democracy. They've all been co-opted. Perhaps they always were. But what I do believe is that we can come together and change things economically, which is what we're doing. And it's messy. Building our own money is messy. Building our own industry is messy. We make a lot of mistakes along the way. We lose a lot along the way. We collect some scars too while we're at it. But progress every year keeps being made. The technology every year keeps getting better. Today, right here, right now, provably secure proof-of-stake protocols are in circulation. They were a fantasy 5 years ago. Now they're a fact of life. Today, right here, right now, snarks have evolved by an order of magnitude in every category, from validation time to efficiency to proof size, in all favorable ways, which opens up all kinds of new applications and scalability and privacy. Today, right here, right now, layer 2 protocols are more advanced than they have ever been in our industry's history, giving us the ability to build payment systems that scale to billions of people. Today, right here, right now, we are seeing massive innovations in governance and a fertile environment for things like approval voting, threshold voting, preference voting, quadratic voting, that will enable us to build all kinds of new treasuries and governance systems that eventually will scale to nation states. As the politicians of today argue whether the post office can properly count paper ballots that people mail, we are building voting systems with state-of-the-art cryptography, living on phones where you can vote with just a tap of a button and enjoy more security than we have ever imagined before. That is the future. This movement is enabling humanity. Money flowing at the speed of thought, and the speed of thought making new money. How can you compete with that? You can't, unless you bring people down with cynicism and disdain. And ultimately, what competing vision do they offer? That y'all should be in chains, that we should just be wage slaves, We should just accept that every year our money deteriorates in value, that we should just accept that the rich will get richer, the poor get poorer, and every now and then they throw us table scraps. And when we get real angry, they usurp the movements and then install their own leadership to basically take those movements from us, as we've seen so many times before, and we will see again. I'm sorry, that's not a road I want to walk down, and I'm willing to ride rocky waters, crazy markets, crazy people, and unlimited FUD and trolling. But I will never apologize for believing in the best in people, and I will never apologize for believing that if only we give everyone around us the tools to save themselves and society, that they can do it. They don't need great leaders and charisma. No one needs someone to tell them what to do. We all know what to do. We all know how to make the world a better place. We just have to be trusted enough to do it ourselves. And you know what? For the first time ever, we did with Bitcoin. And then we did it again with Ethereum. And now we're doing it again with Cardano. And we as a movement will continue to do it. So I believe our best days are ahead of us. And every day I wake up and there's more people marching with me in that respect. And one day it'll be millions. And one day it'll be billions. And then one day all those cynics will be gone, replaced with optimists who once again believe that tomorrow is going to be better than today, and that we're going to leave the world just a little bit better than the way we found it. So every now and then on a tough day, I like making a little message and letting you guys all know it's going to be better. And you know what? It will be. Just have to have faith that it will be.
Now, I've not always been the biggest fan of Charles Hoskinson, and I don't always agree with what he says, but this message truly touched me, and I think it hit all the right notes for today. What many people fail to realize, especially the newbies who are showing up for these ridiculous outsized gains happening in DeFi, well, you've missed the last 3 years of struggle and hardship and work and building that have led up to a massively successful explosion of value that has taken place here in DeFi. And remember, there's no question that DeFi is in a bubble. These valuations, kimchi reaching $500 million, literal emojis attracting hundreds of millions of dollars in a blink, this isn't the real world. This isn't real life. So a correction in some regard was bound to happen. But the reality is that there's no guarantee that we're headed down and that the bull run's over just yet. But before going on to make the case, which I will make to you, that there is absolutely no confirmation that this bull run is over yet, I just want to reflect on this, which is an important message. Cryptocurrency is about empowering the individual. It's about transferring power from the center to the edges and empowering all of us to have more freedom, liberty, and of course, personal wealth. Many people will try to tell you that being rich or being wealthy serves no purpose. But in reality, being wealthy allows you to do the things that you enjoy most. It allows you to enjoy your most precious asset, which is your time. It allows you to focus on your relationships and focus on your pursuits. So while money in and of itself cannot buy you happiness, the freedom that money affords you can allow you to pursue things that do make you genuinely happy, that do protect you from things like economic instability or insecurity. And the systems that we're building here in the blockchain world, in the blockchain industry, the cryptocurrency industry, these systems are built for you and me. They're built for more equality, and they're not perfect. So if you really want to understand where this movement is going, the movement is towards freedom, towards equality, towards liberty. And those are the core tenets of cryptocurrency that I believe are always in a bullish cycle. And so if you're looking for the real low cap investment, the real undervalued investment, that's an investment in yourself, in your own knowledge. And of course, if you want to take it to the next level, invest in yourself enough that you can learn to contribute to this incredible and once in a lifetime movement that we're all experiencing together. The reality is that these systems are designed to be more favorable to you, to the individual, to the everyday worker, the everyday member of our society. And that kind of a system is bound to, over the course of a long enough period of time, win out over a monetary policy and system that has proven that it eats its poor and it eats its least powerful, and it transfers their value, it transfers their worth to the select few, instead of empowering the many, which I believe will be proven over a long enough period of time to be a severely outdated system. I hope this message has helped you guys understand where we are, not just in the history of this DeFi bull run, but the history of a change to a monetary system, the history of a change to our society, that in my opinion is as consequential as concepts like freedom, democracy, and money itself. With that said, I'm going to step off my soapbox here and focus on some market analysis. Again, a big thanks to Charles Hoskinson, as I think this message was both timely, poignant, and incredibly well stated. Now let's take a minute to look at the charts, because the reality is that we're experiencing a relief rally that may lead to us reclaiming critical levels on the Bitcoin charts, and of course resuming the uptrend that we have been experiencing in spades over the last few days and weeks. Now right now Bitcoin's sitting at just under $10,600, and this is an incredibly critical level. I will say I was incredibly happy to see this bounce up from about 10K, just under 10K. It wicked down, didn't quite fill that CME gap by any means, but it bounced up nicely here, and we're reclaiming this is a critical level. This is Bitcoin over the last few years here, and we can see how many times this $10,500 level has come in as a critical level here. We can see it's been a local top here, a little wick up to be a local top here. It's acted as support just a few days ago, and now we're fighting to reclaim it here. The reality is that this level is of critical importance, and if we are able to regain it and comfortably close above it, now I'm not a TA expert here. Right now it's kind of cut and dry that if we reclaim this level, it'll turn a little bullish, and this will look like this bounce was a great buy. However, if we break downwards, and especially if we start breaking under 9K here, that's when I'll be looking to tether up and see what happens next. When I say tether up, that means I'm moving into stable coins. Now, yesterday after my video, as things cascaded, I did move a little bit more of my funds into Ethereum, just getting out of some of the lower cap altcoins, not completely, but just sort of putting more of my coins in the majors, which just don't experience as dramatic of downward volatility. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't mind if I miss a little pop in the altcoins. Once it's confirmed again that we're in bull territory and everything's on the up and ups, we can then quickly hop on to some of these promising altcoins and get some great gains. But for me, I'm not greedy. I care about capital preservation, as I held on to too many altcoins throughout 2018 and really lost so much capital, where even if my goal was just to buy back in at lower prices, I missed that opportunity to sell when the charts were showing a breakdown. So my strategy is this time not to be emotional, but just to say, hey, if we're going to start breaking below these critical levels here, that you can see how many times we had support here just around the $9,000 level, just under it. If we start breaking below these key support trend lines here on Bitcoin, it's pretty obvious to see we're going to have some downward trajectory. If to me that happens, I'll tether up, meaning I'll exit a lot of the smaller cap coins. I'll keep a good amount of Bitcoin and Ethereum and put everything else in a stable coin like USDC or USDT or TrueUSD. Pick your favorite one. It doesn't really matter much to me. They all serve the same purpose of escaping the volatility of the market. However, because we're fighting here for this 10.5 level, if we're able to reclaim it and move onward and upward, this would have been just another healthy dip in a very explosive bull run. And here's of course the 2017 bull run, where we experienced many big dips and many big sell-offs here. And here's a great chart showing you that after these big sell-offs throughout the 2017 bull run, we had huge pops, 80%, 130%, 200%, 151%. And then of course the massive 549% monster blow off top. The reality here is that there are tons of dips along the way, even during a massively healthy and explosive bull run. My goal here is not to sell you hopium. I'm trying to give you a pragmatic and unemotional approach to this, as we did see throughout 2019, which now looks like a bear market retracement, but this looked like it was the bull run in 2019. And so after seeing that taper off and gradually die down all the way back to the $4,000 level, this was a big warning sign that we don't want to get locked into our biases. We don't want to become total bulltards, as my friend Crown would say, meaning that we can't see fact or reason. I want you guys, if you experienced tremendous gains over the last few days and weeks, to be able to hold on and lock in some of those, even if you miss some big pops at the beginning of the next bullish wave. I'm personally in favor of hopping on with momentum and not dying on the sword here and risking it all to be the first one that gets the most percent on the pop. I don't think there's any glory in that, and real experienced traders are all about managing risk. They're not about maximizing profits. And when you're flipping in small market cap coins, you are acting as a trader. You're not acting as a value investor. So you need to keep this stuff in mind, that you need to manage risk and have a trader's mentality. Now, for Bitcoin, goes up, goes down, I almost always just add to my Bitcoin holdings, because Bitcoin I believe in for the long term, for decades to come. Whereas these small altcoins with these these explosive profits, and then of course the hot dog charts that literally drop from hundreds of millions of dollars in liquidity to zero in the blink of an eye. These are the types of risks that can happen with these new unproven DeFi coins. You want to keep a level head if you've created a tremendous amount of profits, and we see that we're not able to hold this 10.5 level, and we go and we start retesting under 10K, and especially as we get down towards the lower 9K region, there's nothing wrong with tethering up and protecting your capital. However, right now that's not looking like the situation we're in. In fact, if we're able to close above 10.5 and really reclaim and start heading back up to 11, this would be a very bullish and healthy pullback, and of course in the future will be seen as a great buying opportunity. As you zoom out, not just on the Bitcoin chart, but on the history of our growth as an industry, the history of our development as a society, it's clear that the work we're doing here and the assets and the ideas that are circulating the cryptocurrency and blockchain ecosystem are on the right side of history. That you being here now, helping develop the tools that will bring more equality, liberty, and decentralization of power are things that are good for the world. And of course, when things provide value and are good for the world, people tend to take notice and those systems tend to win. So I thought this message from Charles Hoskinson was a very timely message to help you guys enjoy your weekend and understand that you're participating in something that is very special. You're participating in a first of its kind internet of money economy. This journey will be a rocky one. This journey is filled with trials and tribulations, but if you are able to understand and navigate it with a level head and an understanding of the importance of the work that we're doing here, well, that is where the true victory is. So I hope this message has helped you. I hope my analysis of the charts and the way I'm going to be managing my own stack, of course, not financial advice, just my own opinion of that. I reduced my exposure to some of the small caps for now and moved quite a bit into Ethereum and then a little bit into Bitcoin. And to reiterate again, the reason why I did that is if things break down, some of these alts will get hit with staggering losses, sometimes 30, 40, or 50% in a day, whereas Ethereum and Bitcoin are just going to move much, much slower. So it'll give you more time to react, more time to tether up, as they say, or enter stable coins to lock in those gains. And that's just my strategy, but I encourage you guys to DYOR, do your own research, and develop your own approach to the market. Now, once we do get a bullish confirmation again, I have a ton of amazing small cap alts that I cannot wait to unleash upon you guys, but I'm waiting for confirmation that we're in the right cycle. Remember how important cycles are. If the cycle turns against us, it doesn't matter how good these projects are, they're most likely just gonna dump. So I don't want you guys rushing into something that's gonna lose you money, and I'd prefer that we get a little confirmation of the bullishness before I tell you guys which coins I'm going after next. If you guys appreciate that and you guys got value out of this video, do me a favor and destroy that like button. Don't forget that each and every comment on this video is entered to win your very own Ledger Nano S, and so feel free to comment in the comment section below and let's keep the conversation going. Let's talk about where we are in the history of this movement, in the history of the DeFi bull run, what you guys see coming in the near-term future. Let's keep the conversation going and let's keep the community building. Of course, with a bullish resumption here, we'll be unleashing upon you a ton of exciting and undervalued projects in the space that I sincerely hope help benefit you on your crypto journey. So I highly encourage you guys to subscribe and make sure you put that bell notification on. That way you're made aware exactly when I put out content and you can be of the early crowd to take advantage of the information. If you guys want to connect with me personally, follow me on Twitter at LEOTrades and join my Telegram group t.me/LEOTradesCrypto. The links for both of those are in the description. If you guys are sitting on some crypto gains and would like to know how to spend them, I personally have the Crypto.com card, and if you sign up today, you can get $50 off just for signing up, and I get a $50 bonus too, so it's a real win-win. The link for that is in the description below as well. As usual, I thank you guys so much for watching. My name's LEOTrades, and I'll see you very soon in the next episode.